I have to push that I'm okay with the recording. So there we are. Okay. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining and for just taking some time for yourself in this new year and this new month, and it's also a new moon. So I just invite you to take a few moments to set up your space if you haven't already. Unroll your mat or your towel. Also, we'll be going into a time of guided rest at the end, Yoga Nidra, that Molly will lead for us. So if you want to get your props for that now, that would be a good idea. So any blankets or pillows that you want to feel warm and supported, go ahead and grab those now so they're within reach. And once you are ready to begin, I invite you just to come to a comfortable seat. You can sit like me.
Justine, I just see we had a hand raised. DeMarcus, did you have a question before we start?
I'm sorry, I can't.
It might have been an accidental hand raise, so if not, no worries.
Okay. Yeah, if you do, go ahead and put in your question in the chat and Molly can assist you. So once you're ready, come to a comfortable seat. And I invite you to maybe keep your eyes open or close your eyes or bring your eyes to a soft gaze. And just take a breath here. So I'll be guiding us through about 20 minutes of gentle movement. And within that time, feel free to rest and modify as you need. I'll offer some variations, but I know that everyone's body is different in every moment. So this is a reminder that this is your time, and take what you need and leave the rest. So maybe that means you do everything I cue and everything I'm doing with my body. And maybe that means you do nothing of what I'm cueing and nothing of what I'm doing. All is okay in this space. So before we start to move, I want to just give an acknowledgement that yoga was created and passed down by people of color. It's not my tradition. So I invite you to take one breath to honor the people that came before us and gifted us this practice. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes and take an inhale with me now. And an exhale. Staying where you are, just take a few breaths together, inhaling and open your mouth, exhale. Feel free to make some noise or sigh on your exhale. Breathe in. And open your mouth, breathe out. And one more like that. Breathing in, filling up. And breathing out, letting go. So just take a moment here to check in with yourself and see what's showing up for you. So maybe you have a lot of excitement for this day or for this year ahead. Maybe you have a lot of fear coming up about the unknown, what could be. Maybe you are feeling a lot of sadness or physical pain in this moment, or maybe indifference. Maybe ask yourself how you can honor what you're showing up with as we begin to move. Maybe that means you do less, or do more, or do differently. Take one more breath on your own. And when you're ready, make your way onto hands and knees or tabletop pose. Taking your time to get there. So I like to have my hands about shoulder width, sometimes a little bit wider, and my knees typically hip width apart. Some days I tuck my toes, other days I point my toes. Once you're in your tabletop, just notice the earth beneath your hands, beneath your knees. Notice the parts of you that are making contact with the floor. Maybe push into your hands or into your knees and just notice that resistance or that stability that's there for you. And to warm up our spine, we'll start with some cat and cow or any other spine movement that feels good. So for me, I'm just going to drop my belly, lift my gaze for cow pose. I'm going to push into my hands, round my back for cat pose. I'm going to use my inhale here to drop my belly, lift my gaze for cow pose. On my exhale, I'm going to arch my back, tuck my chin. Take a few more breaths on your own, maybe linking your inhales and your exhales with your movement. Maybe just making some barrel rolls with your spine or some figure eights. In any way, move in any way that feels good for you, for your spine. Doesn't have to have a name. And when you feel ready, you can come back to neutral and tabletop. And the invitation here is to extend your left leg back. Option is to tuck your toes here as mine are, keeping them on the mat. Maybe you want to lift your leg to hip level. I'm going to keep mine down here. And if you'd like, you can stay here, or you can extend your right arm forward, extending your limbs in both directions. If you'd like, take an inhale here. And on your exhale, bring your right elbow towards your left knee, maybe touching, maybe not. Your inhale, extend out in both directions. Using your exhale to crunch in. Your inhale, reach long. And on your exhale, crunch in. And come back to center. And we'll do the other side. So when you're ready, extend your right leg back. Again, tucking your toes or maybe lifting your leg. Option is to stay here or to extend your left arm forward. Noticing how it feels to extend energy out in both directions. If you'd like to link your breath with movement, take an inhale here. And bring your left elbow towards your right knee on your exhale. Your inhale, extend long. And exhale, crunch in together. Inhale, extend. And exhale, crunch in. And come back to tabletop. We'll push back to a child's pose. So again, knees can be together. I like to have my knees wide and my feet sometimes touching, sometimes just pointed towards each other. If you have a pillow, maybe for your yoga nidra practice, it can be really nice to just put that underneath your chest or your head. If not, you can come down onto the floor, maybe make a pillow with your hands for your forehead. Pausing here in child's pose. How would it feel to accept your body as it is in this moment? To let go of striving just for a moment. And taking one more breath here. And when you feel ready to move, make your way to stand at the top of your mat, however you'd like to get there. I'm just going to crawl my way up, but if you'd like, you can come through downward facing dog. And at the top of your mat, I like to have my feet about hip width apart. We're going to come into mountain pose. So option is to keep your feet together. Sometimes it's nice to have a really wide stance if that feels more supported. Traditionally, the palms face the wall that you're facing. I'm going to bring my shoulders up, back, and down to broaden across my chest. Bring a micro bend to my knees since I tend to hyperextend and force things. And I'm going to stretch the crown of my head up towards the ceiling, arriving in my mountain pose. And take a breath here. And we'll do a few rounds of half salutes. So again, I will cue movement with the breath, but if that doesn't feel good for you, move at your own pace. And when you're ready, you can inhale your arms up over your head, reaching towards the sky. On your exhale, you can bend at your hips and dive forward. I like to keep a generous bend in my knees here. On your inhale, bringing your hands maybe to your legs somewhere or to the floor, sending your heart forward. And on your exhale, releasing, folding forward. Inhaling, reaching up, rising up. And exhaling your arms back down to mountain pose. So we'll do one more like that. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, bow forward. Inhale to your halfway lift, bringing your hands to your shins or your legs. And exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rise up, reach up. And exhale, mountain pose. We're going to move into a lunge flow, which is similar in terms of a sun salutation. You'll just be weight bearing on your hands a little bit. And if that doesn't feel accessible for you, you're welcome to continue with the half salutes that we were just doing. But if you'd like to add on, and you're ready, inhale your arms up over your head. And exhale, bow forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step your right foot all the way back, coming to the ball of your left or your right foot. And on your inhale, we'll come to a lunge or a runner's lunge, heart stretching towards the front of your mat. On your exhale, plant your hands, step your left leg all the way back, coming into downward facing dog. And on your inhale, we'll extend our right leg up towards the sky. On your exhale, we'll step it up near or between our hands, coming into a runner's lunge on the other side. Taking an inhale. On your exhale, step to the top of the mat and fold forward. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, we'll bow right back down to do the other side. Inhale to your halfway lift, drawing your heart forward. Exhaling, plant your hands. This time, step your left foot all the way back, coming to the ball of your left foot. Inhale to your runner's lunge. Exhale, plant your hands, step your right foot all the way back, coming into downward facing dog. Inhale, extend your left leg up towards the sky. And exhale, your leg somewhere up between your hands or towards the top of your mat. Your inhale, come to your runner's lunge. And exhale, step to the top and fold forward, release. Inhale, rise up, reach up. And exhale, back to mountain pose. Pause for 2 breaths once you get there. Maybe noticing your breath or noticing your body and how things might have shifted with just a little bit of movement. If you're like me, this is the morning, so this is my first movement of the day. So there's a lot of different sensations coming up, or tightness, or it's also cold, so that also makes things feel a little bit different. And take one more breath here. Reach your arms up towards the sky. And bow forward for forward fold. We'll just hang out here in forward fold for a few moments. So you can play with the width of your feet. I like to bring my feet a little bit wider for this. Hands can be just down wherever they fall. It can be nice sometimes to grab opposite elbows or maybe interlace your hands behind you. I like to put a pretty generous bend in my knees, especially in the morning or if I'm not, if I'm feeling some tightness in my legs, but at least a micro bend. I like to just release my head down, letting go of my neck here. Shaking my head yes and no. Maybe you want to imagine all of the things that you don't want to carry with you into this day or this year, pouring out the top of your head into the earth. And taking one more breath here. And when you're ready, bend your knees all the way. Come down to the mat and come back into a comfortable seat. So maybe you want to keep your legs out in front of you. I'm going to come into cross-legged seat. I'm just going to turn to face you. We're going to do some lateral bends. So once you're there, take your time. There's no rush. I can see people still coming into their seat. Once you're there, if you'd like to use your inhale, then inhale here and extend your arms up towards the sky. And take a lateral bend to your right. So I'm going to bring my right hand down here. You can also, of course, come down to your forearm and stretch your left arm up over towards the right. Maybe breathing into the opening of your left side body. When you're ready, come back, push up to center and reach towards the sky. And take a side bend to the left. Maybe noticing how this side feels different. For me, this side is a lot less tight. And pushing back up to center. Stretching high up towards the sky, spreading your fingers. And bringing your hands back down into your lap. Before we move towards our guided rest, we'll take a few moments here just to feel into our neck. I know for me, I feel I carry so much tension and sensation in my neck. So I invite you to just make some circles, bringing your chin towards your chest, left ear towards your left shoulder, chin towards the sky, right ear towards your right shoulder. Moving as slow or as fast as you need. Maybe playing around with the size of your circle or even stopping. For me, it feels really good sometimes to just stop where there's a whole bunch of sensation coming up and to just breathe into that. If you haven't done so already, you can change the direction of your circle. And when you feel complete, you can come back to neutral. I invite you to rub your palms together. I don't know how it is where you are, but it's cold here. It's cold for me. So just create some heat with your palms. And once you feel like that heat is there, I'm going to bring one hand to my heart, one hand to my belly. I'm going to soften my belly because I tend to hold everything in there. And we'll just take 2 breaths together before we move into our time of Yoga Nidra with Molly. So when you're ready, take an inhale, filling up ease and gentleness. And exhale, letting go, releasing. One more like that. Breathing in. And breathing out. And if you have your props for your Yoga Nidra, I'm going to grab my blanket and pillow over there. Make sure they're within reach. And Molly is going to guide us into a time of rest, which we can't wait for.
Thank you so much, Justine, for easing our bodies into a more restful, slower pace. Know that your temperature will likely drop in Yoga Nidra, so I'm grabbing a sweater. You might like to put some socks on, cover yourself in a blanket. If Yoga Nidra is new to you, it's essentially a place of guided rest. So you can do this in any position. I do highly recommend you lie down. But if lying down isn't comfortable in your body, you're welcome to stay seated. Really just trying to find a place where you don't have to exert any effort to hold yourself up. So if you are seated in a chair, I know some of you have your cameras off, try and find, cushions for under your legs and your back and your neck and under your arms. Just coming into a position that really allows you to feel soft and safe and at ease. So really just taking your time here. And I'm going to name that I had COVID last month and my breath is still very irregular. So if it sounds like I'm out of breath, that is why. So there's no rush here, really just taking your time. And if you have found that position of ease, just seeing if there's perhaps any even small micro adjustments you can do to find even 1% more of comfort. So if you found that position, or whenever you're ready, you might like to just become aware of the breath. So just noticing the rhythm of the breath. And again, in this practice or experience of Yoga Nidra, there's nothing to be done. So we're not here to shift or change the breath, just observing the natural rhythm as the body breathes. It looks like everyone's found their cozy little nest, for those of you I can see. So welcome to this experience of Yoga Nidra. Really just lying down your bones and allowing yourself to rest in this space. Perhaps sighing out the breath through the mouth, allowing yourself to sigh into the support of the floor and of the earth beneath. The earth welcoming the whole of you just as you are in this moment, in this space. Know that I will keep my eyes open for this experience so that you can soften your gaze or close your eyes, allowing your gaze to turn inward. Welcoming whatever it is that arises. Exploring what it would be like to welcome all that is. So perhaps releasing this New Year's pressure of changing and doing and fixing yourself. And honoring the wholeness that you are right now. Honoring whatever it is that arises, big or small, heavy or light, knowing that every bit of you is welcome in this space, just as you are. Every drop of blood, every tear, every ounce of grief or uncertainty, every ounce of joy or excitement, just allowing all that is, holding it with softness and acceptance, knowing that you are welcome in this circle of belonging, just as you are. Just as you are. And perhaps again, allowing another sigh, and allowing that sigh to connect you with the back body as it softens into the support of Mother Earth beneath. And as you inhale, perhaps then connecting with the front body, the sense of the air, sense of softness, expansion. Just exploring and playing with the dynamic between the back body connecting with the earth on the exhale, and the front body connecting with the air, the sky above on the inhale. Again, just allowing the natural rhythm of the breath as the body breathes. And the next exhale can soften your awareness down into the spaciousness of the heart. Again, welcoming whatever's present. Just resting here, welcoming the nourishment of rest into the space of your heart. Perhaps tuning in to the heart, noticing if there's a calling or a prayer of the heart that you'd like to welcome into this space. And I'll invite you to come on a pilgrimage through the lands of the body with me, knowing that there's no way to do this practice wrong, as there is nothing to be done. So you can tune me in or tune me out as much as your heart desires. And we'll begin the pilgrimage welcoming each part of our body, the crown of our head. And from the crown of the head, our awareness travels down to the eyes, to the ears, down the nose, and into the lips, to the cheeks and the jawbone, down into the neck, the collarbone and the shoulders, down into the heart space. And from the heart space, we can welcome the right breastbone, the right shoulder, elbow, and wrist, the right palm and back of the hand, the tips of the thumb, the index finger, middle finger, the ring finger, and the little finger. Inviting this sense of welcome to travel back up through the right hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder, back into the space of the heart, and over to the left breastbone, the left shoulder, elbow, and wrist, into the front of the left palm, the back of the left palm, and into all of your left fingertips, the left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Back up through the the left wrist, the left elbow, the left shoulder, and back to the spaciousness of the heart. Allowing your arms to rest, your arms that have lifted one another up, perhaps wiped the tears of another this year. And from the spaciousness of the heart, traveling down to the belly, welcoming the belly just as it is. Traveling over to the right hip, down to the right upper leg, the right knee, lower leg, the right ankle, the sole of the foot, the top of the foot, and all 5 toes of the right foot, the big toe, the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and little toe. Traveling back up through the right lower leg, knee, upper leg, into the right hip, into the bowl of the pelvis, and over to the left side. Welcoming the left hip, left upper leg, knee, lower leg, the left ankle, sole of the foot, upper foot, and all 5 toes on the left foot, the big toe, the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and little toe. Welcoming back up through the left ankle, lower leg, knee, upper leg, and back to the hip, the pelvic bowl. Welcoming the legs just as they are. Traveling up through the back body, through the lower back, the middle back, and the upper back. Both shoulders welcome just as they are. Welcoming the whole body just as it is. What would it be like to welcome this nourishing, welcoming rest in every cell, every part of your being? Nourishing, welcome, and acceptance flowing through every part of you. Allowing the body to rest in the support of Mother Earth, as the mind remains awake and alert. Body resting, mind alert. Perhaps holding both of those in your awareness at the same time. So the resting of the body and the alertness of the mind. What might that be like? When you feel ready, letting that go, just tuning back into the rhythm of the breath, the easeful breath as the body breathes. Noticing the fullness of the inhalation, the softness, the passive exhalation, connecting you again to the floor and to the earth beneath. easeful, fluid breath flowing through as the body breathes. And with your next exhalation, you might like to float your awareness back into the spaciousness of the heart. Again, just being present with whatever is, allowing, honoring, embodying the wholeness that you are right now. May there be a deep knowing that whoever you are, wherever you are, however you are, is welcome in this circle of belonging. All of you is welcome in this space, just as you are. And perhaps inviting the breath to become slightly more audible, noticing the sound of the breath. Perhaps any other sounds coming in through your ears, maybe my voice, maybe the crackling of my fire that I forgot to mention, maybe any birds chirping outside your windows. Noticing if there's any smells in your space, if there's any tastes or perhaps textures in your mouth. Perhaps feeling the air on your skin, especially the parts of your skin that are uncovered. Just noticing what's present as we slowly begin to ease out of this experience of Yoga Nidra. Knowing there's no rush and you're welcome to stay in this place of rest as long as you would like. Or we can close this experience of Yoga Nidra, knowing that this Yoga Nidra is now complete. This might be a good time to invite in a wiggle of your fingers or your toes, maybe welcoming a yawn or a full body stretch. Just noticing if there's any impulses or any longings of the body. Taking your time, you're welcome to stay in this position on your back or on your side, wherever you are. I can't see all of you. Or you're welcome to join me back up in a comfortable seated position as we close out the space. And while you're in that transition, taking your time, I'm going to read a poem to you that I found this morning and wanted to offer. And I know some of you in Europe, it's nighttime, so you're welcome just to ease straight into bedtime if you like. So I'm going to share a poem by Jennifer Williamson called I Am Enough, and it's a poem about worthiness. There is wholeness that's already mine. It's already ours. I'm not just the seed. I am the rain that waters the flower. It's a reality that's already there, that I am enough. I take on faith that wholeness is already mine, that I need to do nothing to deserve, that my worthiness is based only on my being. I am wise enough to let it go, and I am strong enough to remember the truth of who I really am. I can encounter the world in such a way that I remember who I am. I am the rest inside the unrest, and the depth of the sky and the light piercing the sea. I am the crest of a wave, all that I need to be, I am. There is no problem to solve in this moment. There is no plan to make, no failure to be feared, no other place to be. This moment is enough. This place is enough. I am patient enough for my whole life to unfold in divine timing. I feel the fullness of my life in this moment. I feel the richness of my life in this space. I am loved beyond thought, and I have nothing to prove. There's no one to impress. I receive the message that this being is enough. I am wise enough to see magic through a child's eyes, I am resilient enough to see past the pain. I am kind enough to realize that my worth has been with me this whole time. Beyond the shadows that I've created, the message remains. I am the same. I have always been enough, simply by being here, simply by being. It takes only a moment, and I remember this again. And I would like to offer one mantra to close this space. Many of you are probably familiar with the Loka mantra. So if you would like to join me, you're welcome. Just make sure everyone is muted. You're welcome to bring your hands to your heart space. Maybe feeling into the connection between the palms. And we can exhale together, releasing the breath. We'll inhale to begin. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And we can do one Om together, inhaling. Om. Staying in this internal place of awareness for as long as you would like. When you feel ready, perhaps looking down at the floor and opening your eyes if they've been closed. Taking in the space around you, and perhaps coming back to the screen of this circle we're co-creating across oceans. So thank you all for practicing with us. I hope if this is your first experience of Yoga Nidra, especially that it was supportive for you. I'm gonna remove my spotlight so we can all see each other. And before we leave you all, Justine and I wanted to share that we are starting a program on January 22nd. It's a 4-week series called Rest and Recharge that we've specifically designed for humanitarians and activists and medical professionals. So people in caring professions to support one another and come together in our joys and in our challenges. And we'll have 4 live Zoom sessions once a week. You're so welcome, Nick. I'm so glad to have you here. And then we'll also have recorded just mini brief practices, bite-sized practices for you to utilize throughout the week to continue the process that we'll move through with specific themes. So I don't know if you want to add anything, Justine.
No, but I'm still coming out of my time of rest. But no, everything. Yeah, I think you covered it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us. There is a different, like a sliding kind of scale for payments, so it's hopefully accessible. And if not, again, feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Molly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.